Hello, it's Rich here. It's new guitar day. I've already unboxed it, as you can see, because I needed the box to send away another one. Not feeling too good today. I've had this vertigo issue for 2 weeks now, dizziness. Anyway, so I wasn't going to do this today, but I've got to because it's a new guitar. Let's take that off. It's a PRS Starla SE. If you don't know what SE stands for in the PRS Indonesian range, it's student edition, so it's the affordable versions of their not affordable versions. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know I've had lots of guitars. Still very much a novice, but get a guitar, get bored, get another one. So this is guitar number 85, which I know is a daft number. I should learn to play better, but there we go. It is what it is. The Epiphone Les Paul Modern Figured, which I had earlier this week, which I sent back, and was just had loads of floor finish issues. But this is just a whole nother ball game. It's been a long time since I've had a PRS. The last one I had was a Tremonti, an SE Tremonti. But this one is just spotless in every way. It's set up pretty well. It's got a rosewood fingerboard, which is nice to see. The frets, which you can't see very well on the video here, but they're polished. The fingerboard edges are ever so slightly rolled, and there's no fret sprout whatsoever. Not really a tortoise fan. That was the only thing that put me off before getting this, but now I've got it here. It goes with this vintage white perfectly, and it's got a push-pull here as well. And it's a set neck, mahogany set neck, mahogany body, and this body's actually quite sort of like a Strat sort of thickness, but a bit thicker than that as well. I don't know. Let's measure it. Measure it. Get a ruly out with my 1-to-1. It's sort of Strat body-ish, actually. Yeah. Square body. It's about 41 mil thick. So I actually like that. It's yeah, it's just easy to hold. You've got a belly carve on the back. Decent access to the upper frets, 22 frets by the way on this one. No locking tuners, but these are pretty good tuners. I've had these before, they work fine. The strings are still bedding in by the way, so I've only just got it. Yeah, made in Indonesia by the Cortec factory, so decent place. As you know, Cortec, all sorts of things are made there, from PRS, Ibanez, Cort, own guitars, Epiphones, all sorts of things are made there. So yeah, I think my first kind of impression versus the Epiphone, this was £500. The Epiphone was, I got it in a bit of a sale, but they're typically £599, so it's £100 more than this, and this feels more like £100 more than that, to be honest. I haven't taken off the film off the pickguard yet. So we'll just go through a few tones, just to give you a bit of an idea. The first thing to note about this is it comes with a lower output type pickups, and I think they sound a bit sort of P90ish. I've got the volume on the amp and the volume on the guitar, where I typically have it on most other things I've had of late, apart from sort of the vintage inspired ones. The volume is down a bit, and as you'll hear for humbuckers as well, they're not the most grunty. They're a bit more, they're a bit more P90ish. They've got a nice tone to them, and the guitar itself has got a decent amount of sustain. So the first thing I want to do, and I do this all the time I know, is does the tone knob work? Is it just on or off, or is it useful? Right, let's get a chord. Tiny bit out of tune, sorry I've only just done it. That's on tone 10. 7 or 8. 4 or 5, 0. So back up to about 4, 7. So it's okay. It's not the most responsive tone knob, to be honest. The Squire Classic Vibe that I reviewed in my last demo, that tone knob was one of the best I've had for a while. It had lots of sort of graduation on it. But so we'll leave the tone on 10, and we'll go on the neck pickup, and I'll just do a few notes and a couple of chords, just so you can have a feel for it. Incidentally, the amp, it's a Blackstar V2. It's on the clean channel, And I've got no reverb, no delay, nothing. It's just totally clean. So I better turn it up a bit more actually. Totally clean. So you won't be able to hear that as well as I can. Sustain, it's pretty good. And like most guitars of this nature, if you put the volume up, it gets a lot dirtier. So I've chosen to keep the volume about half-ish on the guitar and up a bit more on the amp. So I'm going to pull the push-pull out. Back in. Out. Now, single coil type tone doesn't sound anything like a Strat to me. Ooh. But obviously thinner. Right, middle position, back on full humbucker mode. Again, nothing on the amp. Tone right up, push pull out. That's a nice sound actually. That sounds a bit middle position on a Strat-ish. Then on the bridge, so spanky. Push pull out. On a chord, in, so yeah, it's not hasn't got a beefy tone to it. Let's put the crunch channel on. Let's just have a quick on that. Take that off again. No reverb, no delay, just totally clean. Oh, well, crunchy, but nothing else on it. Middle. just a quickie for you on the Overdrive channel. Press that button and that button. Wowzers. Well, I think we can see what this guitar wants to do. Let's turn the volume down a little bit. Wow, sorry, terrible playing today. It's not feeling too good. So, one other thing that's really important, of course, is the neck. It's always the neck, isn't it? I like this neck actually. It's a wide fat, and obviously PRS don't do, you know, it's 12-inch, 14-inch, 9-inch radius, whatever C shape. They've got their various different sizes themselves. So what does a wide fat really feel like? Well, in my hands, having had lots of guitars, it feels like a C at the back, like a slightly flat C at the back. It's thicker here to here than the sort of Epiphone Les Paul moderns and the 60s style ones with the thinner U-shaped necks. It's a bit thicker than that there, so it feels like a tiny, slightly flattened C, not an overly chunky C. The fretboard is pretty flat. It's not overly wide here, so you can still get your thumb over the top. I haven't got particularly big hands. You can still get your thumb over the top. It is easier for scales and going up and down because of its flatness, but it doesn't make it really tricky for chords. You've probably got to, I'd say you've got to hold the strings down a touch harder than you would if you're playing your Strat, because it is flatter. But it seems to be a really nice compromise and a nice balance to me of everything with the neck. It's not too thin, but it's not over chunky. You know, you feel like you've got something in your hand, but it's not unplayable. It is a flat neck, but it doesn't feel stupidly hard to play chords. Just a tiny bit firmer, to hold the strings down a tiny bit firmer. It's definitely easy to do bends and to move your fingers up and down, which is the benefit of a flatter fretboard. So I think you're kind of getting the best of all worlds really with this. And my overall feeling on the pickups is I'm not 100% sure yet. I've not really had P90s. I've only had them once before, and so I think this is kind of P90 sounding. So I think for overdriven tones and crunchy stuff with a little bit more volume, as you just heard briefly there, I think really good. The clean tones, I'm not too sure what they're trying to be. That middle one with the coil split out did sound middle position on a Strat, but I don't really know what the other single coil sounds are trying to do, apart from be sort of thin and unoffensive. So need a bit more time on that. So neck, lovely. Gotta have birds if it's a PRS. Tuners, so far so good. Finish, immaculate, perfect everywhere. No flaws, no problems. Setup good, frets nice, all of that stuff. And volume and tone. Volume does graduate and work well. Tone a bit less so. And yeah, and then the pickups, like I say, probably really good on the crunchy stuff. Not too sure yet on the clean stuff and the single coil sound as to what it quite wants to be. But would I recommend buying one if I had 500 quid and I wanted a single cut with these sort of features? Absolutely. Haven't had some inexpensive single cuts recently, and that more expensive than this Epiphone. This feels like a proper guitar. That sounds silly to say. You know, maybe it's because Paul Reed Smith has now got his signature on the top, but it doesn't feel like a toy. It doesn't feel like it's trying to be something else. It just feels like a really nice guitar, and great to have a rosewood fretboard as well, which you just don't see as much these days on slightly more affordable guitars. I appreciate £500 isn't cheap, and certainly not cheap to me either. But yes, so that's the PRS SE Starla. Please comment, ask me some more about it. I will do some videos playing it, doing different things in time to come. when I'm feeling a bit better. And thanks all for watching, and thanks for subscribing. I see I've got 195 now. And bearing in mind I'm just doing this for a bit of fun, that's amazing. And my most popular video, which is the Harley Benton SE Custom 2, has had 12,000 views now, which is nuts. So thanks everybody, and I'll catch you on the next one. Rich, out.